Finding Your Why. My name is Daniel J. Smith. I'm the host of Edmonton Real, a podcast that delivers unique guests and unique conversations and some powerful thoughts in helping people find their why. What makes people happy and discover new, fresh ideas that might inspire you to take action in your own life. This Edmonton Real podcast may be the platform that helps you change or give you that spark you need to make a change. Let's all grow together. This is Edmonton Real. This is Edmonton Real. I'm your host, Daniel J. Smith. This is the very first episode of Edmonton Real. And today, I have a gentleman, Omar Ammar, who is an entrepreneur, a host of his own podcast called The Beehive, a painter, an artist who does amazing work, also a tattoo artist, which I've recently just found out, and an all-around just an amazing guy with amazing energy. And welcome to Edmonton Real, brother.
Thank you. Energy, but man, that's tiring. That intro, I'm like, am I really doing all that bullshit? Yeah, it's very tiring. Thank you. Great intro.
Yeah, very welcome. And so we met, and it's fair to say when we met, there was, again, going back to that energy and synergy. And I remember when we first met, you're like, Dan, this should be a podcast. When we very first met, and I'm like, well, let's do it. And then I went on your podcast, and then on your podcast, I said, hey, when I have my podcast, you're going to be my very first guest. And here we are.
Stuck to your roots. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. So Edmonton Real, I got some inspiration from a few people, and including yourself. So the Beehive, we'll get into that, and you can share that. But I just wanted to kind of let you know that you inspired me to actually do this, and along with some other people as well. And I've been wanting to do it for quite some time. And, guys like me and yourself, we're action takers. We take action, and that's kind of what I want the viewers to see is, people out there living outside the norm, taking action. And so what happened was I was going to call the podcast something else. I wasn't going to call it Edmonton Real. I was going to call it, something to do with entrepreneurs or what have you. But what happened was I started to watch London Real by the name of Brian Rose. He hosted it and is the host currently. And of course, you've got Joe Rogan and you've got a couple people that are doing it at a high level and have a lot of, millions and millions of viewers. But what happened was with Brian Rose, he did a TED Talk. And he challenged people to do a local reel in their local city. So Edmonton Reel, New York Reel, Toronto Reel. And I said, this guy's story really resonates with me, right? He was a stockbroker, but he was just unfulfilled, right? And he kind of put that life, he made good money, but put that life over here and went into this unknown territory like me and you have done. And as I find more about him and I did more research, he just connected with me so well, I decided to call the podcast Edmonton Real. And also, I can kind of have this energy with him, but also Edmontonians. And, you do your podcast here. So let's kind of get into it, man. The tables have turned.
Right.
Now you're in the hot seat, and I can relax. Because this is the first time you've been on the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
So how do you feel?
I feel good. I talk to the mirror quite a bit, so that
so it works. It works.
So I've been here before.
Okay, so
where I'm having these conversations. But before you start, man, this studio is unbelievable. Bryce, Lucas, like your team, you guys are doing it right. So I just wanted to say that right off the bat. I didn't thank you and tell you how great this place looks from the front door to the back door. Awesome. So you did your first, and this is it. But you're doing it right, man. So
perfect.
Congrats. It looks great in here. So thank you for having me on and as your first.
I appreciate it. So
and it's a good name. It's a good name you got for it.
Yeah, no.
Continue the trend, right?
And I think that, it really kind of resonated with me, and I really took my time to decide what direction I wanted to go, and just felt right. And sometimes you got to go with your gut if it feels right, and it did, and here we are. So tell me, kind of.
You got shit written down on your iPad?
I do.
Really?
I'm serious.
I always did it on paper.
Yeah, I know, man.
I've been told I'm old school, like still doing things the old way.
You know,
My clients, tattoo clients, actually write them down.
So
How old school is that?
my mom,
Yeah,
school teacher,
yeah.
many years, and she would always write on her hand, and so I found myself writing on my hand from time to time. If it was very important stuff, it got on the hand. And my real estate buddies were like, Dan, come on, because they'd always see me, and I've always just like, it looked like I had a tattoo on my hand.
I tattoo, man, so I know about important things written on the hand.
Yeah.
So that I leave that for tattooing. So
Yeah.
I don't write on my hand,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm pretty old school.
No.
So
I am
I
too.
see a list. I'm excited to hear what you think about me. Let's go.
No, I think highly of you, but
Thanks,
I want to
man.
maybe dig a little deeper of stuff that I don't know, right?
Dig, I love.
And like I said, I commend you for coming on, because I've been on that side. Now I'm on this side, and they're
Looking
both,
good
they're
too,
both
by the
fun.
way.
Thank
Shit.
You. Thank you.
I feel a little underdressed. I'm like, damn, I
You look sharp, man. You
should
look
have grabbed the 3-piece. Whatever. It's all good.
It's all good.
A warning next time.
So, what I want to know is who Omar Ammar is. Where you were born. What was your childhood like? What led you to the path that you're on today? So,
Such a broad question. First of all, you're saying my first name wrong.
okay.
You're saying Omar Ammar, but there's a story behind that, so it's all good.
Okay.
My parents had a sense of humor. So my last name's Ammar. They're like, we'll name him Omar. So just go by Omar. It's quicker. Plus, those who know my first name definitely know my last name because it's the same. You're just changing one letter.
Okay.
So we'll just go
No,
Omar.
whatever. See, that's great.
That's right?
That's
So
great.
You're getting to know me, man. But where I grew up, so I was born here. I'm an Edmontonian. I'm Canadian first, but I am more Lebanese than ever, especially with what's going on now. I'm 100% Lebanese. My dad and mom both are from Lebanon. My dad spent some time in Colombia, so I got a little bit of the Spanish language instilled in me at home growing up. But they met a long time ago, got married, and been together for almost 50 years. So my dad is somebody to look up to when it comes to relationships. Not that I took a lot of his advice, but he's just somebody that I look up to. So I did a lot of my growing up there when he went back from Edmonton to do business. So he'd always go back and forth. We've been here for a while. So I went back to Lebanon after being born at the Royal Alec. I was 3 years old, and I stayed there till I was about 9. Came back, and the first thing I remember is hockey. I remember seeing it on TV, and you know, back where I'm from, I'm in a third world country, man.
Yeah.
It's He-Man if you're lucky, and on the best days of the week, it's the Smurfs. You know, so we grew up on that shit. So I come back and introduced to hockey because I was a kid when I left. I was 3 years old because they wanted a little bit of that home country instilled in you. So it's good to do that at a young age. So when I got back, I fell in love with hockey, begged them to get me rollerblades, started hitting my brothers into the walls where, you know, I got 2 older brothers, 1 younger, but I'd hit them into the walls and do some damage around the house. So they got me skates, put me on a team, spent the money, did the whole learning, but I'm a quick learner. So I got into hockey when I was about 10 after rollerblading for a year. And I started off as an embarrassment, man. I was the guy that, like, really, you know, because most kids that are into hockey will start it at 4 or 5.
I started young.
My nieces and nephews are all starting it young.
I started young, yeah.
But I was a little bit different. I got back at 9, 10 years old. People are mad at me for being on the ice. Like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
My brother's tying up this skate. My other brother's tying up this skate. Like, I didn't know how to tie my skates. But I'm such a quick learner. Within 4 years, I became captain of that team.
Awesome.
So my movement through everything I try to do, I try to do it as much, with as much passion as possible so I can learn it the fastest. And hockey was one of those. So hockey really opened up my mind to how fast I can learn things. Not just in sports, but just in general. Anything I want to do, I can do it.
Sports is so great for that.
So going from being a laughing stock where people didn't even want to play with you, I would never get the puck. My parents would be those immigrants cheering me on, and I'm doing nothing.
Do you visit back home often?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I go back every 5 years or so.
I actually grew up with a Lebanese family.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, Lebanese.
Yeah.
And they own a pizza shop in my hometown.
Yeah.
And and forgive me, and can't remember, I think it means a couple different meanings. 80 feet. What does that mean in Lebanese?
It's a swear word.
Yeah. That's about all I know.
Yeah, it's a swear word.
But yeah, and actually,
Yeah.
my buddy is a famous artist in Toronto.
Okay.
And I might have to link you guys up.
It's a good city to be an artist.
Because I know that you're an artist. And some of the stuff that he used to draw and sketch when we were in school, it was like, wow. And now he sells his paintings, and he does very, very well.
As long as you're doing what you love, man.
And they grew up and had a couple pizza shops and came from Lebanon. Young
Sounds
family.
very Lebanese.
Yeah, very Lebanese.
Having a doner shop,
and,
pizza shop.
I still go home to Nova Scotia, where I'm from, and I'll see his mom still there, doing her thing, working. Hey, Dan, how's it going? So I know a little bit about where you're from,
culture.
a little bit, the culture, a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I was around them growing up, but awesome people.
I picked a lot of that up when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That 6-7 years might not seem like much, but when I got back, even though I took on the Canadian lifestyle quickly and got involved in sports, but I picked up a lot of the culture. And even though those 6-7 years, they do magic to you. So I never lost that in me. Not that I kept going back and spent years there, but I always went back to visit. But I never lost that cultural aspect I got when I was a kid. So I'm very thankful for those early years.
So hockey kind of really gave you some groundwork and kind of really made you feel like, I guess, you were more of, Canadian when you came over because it's our national sport. What else kind of, when you were growing up, was there anything else that you played?
Hockey was the first thing I tried.
Yeah.
You can't be in Edmonton and not fall in love with the game of hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play it 24/7, year round. We have a great hockey team. You got it sported, especially this
Edmonton
year.
Real.
They are kicking ass, and it's you can't be more prouder to be an Edmontonian now. Not just because of hockey, but just in your way of life. I come from a country where my parents didn't have all these things that we have here. So besides the cold, it's like complain about something else.
Yeah.
But Edmonton is definitely what got me into hockey. I don't think any other place would have been more suitable, but I loved it. It was the first thing I tried, and after that, I did the typical thing, did the whole restaurant thing, the pizza place. I did many jobs though. I worked in sales. I tried door-to-door knocking in Toronto. I went to California for a bit. So it was a long while before.
What were you doing in California?
My brother became a doctor there at Palmer West.
Okay.
So I went to spend some time out there and just to see what it was like. I had, I had little
Canada?
dreams that I had in my head that I didn't know, what they meant and where it was going to take me. But traveling really helps, get some ideas rolling. I got back and just wanted to make myself proud, make my family proud, and open up a business. Ended up backfiring. So I tried a bunch of jobs, got my own restaurant, bar, ended up having 2 of them, and had a really rough 2014 where I lost everything.
Wow.
So it's hard when you lose everything that you've worked for, everything that you've saved, and then have to sit back and in your 30s take a clear look at yourself and what you truly want to do. Jim Carrey famously says that his dad used to tell him you can fail at doing something that you hate. You might as well take a chance on doing something you love, and that stuck with me. I thought you can fail doing all the right things. You can fail making pizza and being a great pizza maker.
Fun
like
fact,
Jim
Carrey.
Yeah.
Do you know he wrote himself a check for $10 million?
$10 million check. Yeah.
And then got cast in The Mask.
For The Mask and Dumb and
So
Dumber.
I actually have a check. It's a little bit higher. It's a little bit higher than $10 million.
Yeah, visualization, man, it's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
It is.
No,
it is.
I love where Jim Carrey's been going with his life. Actually, a lot of people find it a little. I get what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
It's just some people aren't ready for it, But I concur with his thoughts. Like he's great. But so I always knew that you can fail doing something that you were supposed to do. So I just had to stop until one of my friends said, "You know what? Why don't you? You're a great artist." Because I used to use it to pick up chicks at the bar, man. I would draw them on a napkin, or I'd do something for my dad. I'd draw him and his car, and so I always had a knack for it, but never really took it up again until my 30s. So a lot of people don't know that. It just came up as a suggestion from a friend. I posted a picture I drew, and social media sort of did the rest.
You got amazing work.
So social media did the rest, and that's how I went back into art. But I only did art because it was therapeutic. After losing the restaurant and I lost a relationship I was in, I was left with literally nothing.
Almost like a magician, kind of picking up the guitar and kind of going through that. And
at least trying it.
Yeah.
Because even the will to try something was hard. Like when I tell people I was suicidal, I don't mean like I was sitting in one of those tubs with a a toaster ready to go, plugged in. I just mean like you can commit spiritual suicide.
Yeah.
You know, your thoughts alone. If you're having suicidal thoughts, not even ready to take the action or you know, doing something about it, just the thought of you not being happy with your life is spiritual suicide. Like you're dying inside, you know. So that's what I mean when I say art got me out of those dark times. I did a talk in Toronto where that was kind of the headline of my talk, was how art saved my life. So went from the restaurant to art. Now fast forward 4 or 5 years later, I don't touch anything unless it's creative. Cameras, filming, script.
I love it.
That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
Money will eventually get to the point where it doesn't even matter anymore.
It's a byproduct.
But I'm not looking for product. I don't have much to leave. I don't have kids. I don't have a big family of my own. So when you die, you don't have much to leave behind. You know, you might have some assets, maybe a good book, maybe some great friends, but most people want a wife and kids to leave behind to carry a name. And when you don't have that as an artist, the only thing I got left behind is my paintings.
You know, I love this.
You know, they're my family.
I love this because I think more than ever, people are a little bit more open to kind of go do something that normally they wouldn't do because, you know, they hear people's stories.
It's against the grain.
Like yours.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like, you know what? Because a lot of times, you know, the go to school, get a job, you know, work for so long, 40 years, retire, like that just isn't as appealing as it once was. And you really can't really do that a whole lot anymore anyways, because a lot of guys are losing their jobs. So you don't even have that anymore. So I think more people are a little bit more open. They're still scared. So that's why, you know, a podcast like Edmonton Real and like yours, it inspires people. And I love that because it's so true, where, you know, people are dying inside and they're not really fulfilling what they really want to do and they're scared. But maybe it's the, you know, the one magazine kind of cover or the one podcast that me and you were doing today, or there's that one thing that trigger that ticks and it's like, you know what, I'm done, I'm going for it.
Well, generally speaking, you have to be down and out.
What's that?
You have to be down and out.
Yeah.
Like I only came to that realization after losing everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was smart enough to figure it out on my own. Hey, Omar, let's do something that you actually enjoy doing.
Yeah.
I never thought that way.
Yeah.
But it's funny, when you lose everything, you got nothing to really, you know, look forward to. You start wanting to find a meaning in life, not so much happiness. Nobody's happy. Yeah. And if you are happy, like Jordan Peterson says, great. Yeah. Be happy. It's a rare commodity to have.
I've been watching him now. You mentioned him to me, and at first I wasn't a big fan.
He's the biggest influence on my life.
He's grown on me, and he is one of the brightest guys I've ever seen in my life.
From Fairview, Alberta.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
he's amazing.
When I first started watching him, but man, he's bright. He's almost up there where, you know, the Elon Musk, where it's like almost difficult to watch him. He's that intelligent.
He's that honest.
And that too. Yeah.
There's something to be said about guys that are women, people, humans that are honest.
Yeah.
When you're honest, people can see that.
Yeah.
And no matter how vulnerable you get, as long as you're being honest, man, and it's hard to do. I try to be honest as much as I can. But
here we are. Let's go. Let's go.
But I still lie. I'm still mischievous in ways. I'm you know, still feel like I'm corrupt. You know what I mean? But you try your best to be as honest as possible, and it's a hard thing to do. And he even says, when he started paying attention to what he says and figuring out if he's being honest, he goes, 95% of what he says is a lie. So you can figure that out just by watching yourself.
A canvas,
yeah,
and letting your inspiration come out in canvas, does that help you in your life kind of open up a little bit in certain areas that you wouldn't, because of what we just kind of talked about?
Well, in a sense, it does. But I'd love to sit here and tell you, you know, every piece of art I do is very well thought out, with purpose and a message. At the end of the day, the reason I paint was, like I told you, it was very therapeutic to me.
Yeah, it's art.
It got me out of a dark place.
Yeah.
A place that I don't want, you know, my worst enemy to go visit. It's not fun being in a dark place. So art helped me cope and deal with that. I happen to be decent at it, so it it gained me
By
a few
decent, you mean
followers.
amazing.
Thank you. No, that's it's in the eye of the beholder. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
There's amazing artists that I watch now, and I'm thinking, how do you? Like I'm confused.
Yeah.
But my whole life I've been curious about it. You leave me alone in a museum, I'll be there for hours, staring at paintings. I've always been drawn to that.
Yeah.
But make no mistake, I only used it as a form to not only express myself, but to keep myself occupied and not thinking about certain thoughts that were not on the positive side.
Tell me how it transitioned from canvas art to drawing on people and becoming a tattoo artist. Tell me kind of how that happened. How long have you been tattooing people, and kind of how did that kind of navigate, and how did that switch in kind of to being a tattoo artist?
I guess what's more important than how I went from painting to tattooing, because I'm not really in the position to talk about tattooing like I know a lot about it, because I'm in the very beginning stages. I've studied it for a bit, as I normally do before I go into something. I either read up or watch a lot on it. You know, the internet is a great thing. If you're looking to learn something, you just go on YouTube and ask it a question, and you can find out anything. So when I got into art, it was studying it first, finding that, you know, it really helped me. When I got into tattooing, it was the same thing. I studied it first. But I'm in the beginning stages, so I'm in that fun zone where I'm nervous, but I'm very, you know, I'm very confident. But that doesn't always carry through an entire tattoo. So I've only done a handful, but it's been different. My canvas has changed. It's a person now.
Well, that's what I was just going to say.
Right?
Tell me the difference about
skins. Now I'm learning about
exactly
skin.
Being by yourself,
Yeah.
maybe drawing on a canvas, opposed to human flesh right there in front of you, and you know that this is going to be on them forever, right? So tell me the little bit of difference, and like, does, you know, the creativeness, does it have the same kind of touch that it does over there, or is it completely different, or they already know what they're coming in for, so it's different, right? Because they're coming to you with what they want, where when you're an artist yourself painting your own, you have the flexibility. So kind of, do you like it more? Do you like it less? Do you like some things over here better? Like, kind of fill me in.
I got lucky because my segue from painting to tattooing, it wasn't a surprise to people. It wasn't like, oh, Omar's an artist now. They knew me as an artist before. So the segue was really easy to tell people, hey, I'm tattooing now, come give me a shot. It's been awesome.
That's your Instagram handle too, isn't it?
What?
The artist.
Yeah. But I mean, art in many forms. You know, we did a small video the other day where we did like a mini commercial, and me and the guys like to shoot, just like these boys are amazing at, and that is art.
Yeah.
Like directing, that is so much fun. So you know, art doesn't necessarily have a label to it, man. It's just whatever
like you said, whatever's the holder, right? Like
exactly
when you're looking at it.
Yeah,
right?
you can see creativity in everything. But some filmmakers, you know, I seen Joker the other day.
Yeah, I watched
blown
it too.
away, blown away by
Yeah.
that '80s taxi style, that Martin Scorsese sort of shoot.
Yeah.
Even the title was '80s style. The way they shot the film,
It was different. It was
the angles.
I enjoyed it
so much
Yeah.
to appreciate.
Yeah.
Amazing acting.
Yeah.
And now we're
Not too many
almost
people
$1
could
billion
pull that
in the box office. So
Yeah.
he's.
Not too many people could have
Yeah.
pulled that off.
Yeah.
He did an amazing job,
Yeah.
I thought.
But
Awesome.
that's what art is. So to go back to getting into tattooing, I only got into it because it was just more art, more of expressing yourself. At the end of the day, that's all you're trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do. It's just, I've always wanted to express myself, but you know, if you're the kind of person, I'm sure these boys will tell you the same thing. If you grow up wanting to express yourself in a certain way, you feel like doing it, whether it's at a gathering, at a party, at school. If you find other ways to express yourself through film, through painting, through, you know, even through aesthetics, when you're talking tattooing, there's many forms of tattooing that you can expand on, right? So I felt like with expressing myself, if I did it through sketching, Sharpies, charcoal, resin,
Anything.
acrylic, oil, I've done all of it.
Wow.
So I might seem like I'm all over the place, but I'm always looking to express myself. And as soon as it gets boring, it's no longer expressing myself. Now I'm just doing it for a causal end. You know what I mean? So I'm only out here, man, just trying to express. So now tattooing is that new venture. I'm learning a lot about people's skin. I'm getting to know people. My canvas doesn't care if I go have a smoke break, smoke a joint, come back and finish it off.
Here's a question for you.
A tattoo will, right?
Here's a question for you. So what you just said,
Yeah.
do you think you can take what you've now learned or what you're going to learn by tattooing on people and flesh and maybe draw more inspiration so that when you go back and actually have a sheet of canvas that's blank, do you think things will change and a little bit more creative juices will come because you've maybe ventured another territory where you didn't before?
Well,
you know what I'm trying to say?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's different when you're painting. You come up with your painting, you sketch, you draw it out on your iPad, whatever you want to start off with. With a tattoo, it's very important to the person that you get it right.
Right.
With me, there's a lot of trust in me and confidence, which even puts more pressure on me. I'd rather they think I'm a dummy, and that way if the tattoo's half decent, it's like, good job. But they expect you to do great work.
Yeah.
So with a tattoo, people don't know this, but the way I would do a tattoo is you tell me what you want, we draw it out. I draw it out about 4 or 5 times by the time it gets to a stencil. And I'm making sure your skin's ready to go, shaved, alcohol, cream, the stencil cream, whatever I got to put on there. And then it's a stencil. I'm just coloring. Mm-hmm. So there's not much art to tattooing. Where the art is, and what I'm learning very quickly, is it's in your depth. It's your learning about skin, how people bleed, who can take more pain, what areas to work on, how to slow down.
You know what I mean?
Taking your time. It's a sewing machine.
Yeah.
That needle's going in and out of your skin, and I'm just trying to go with the speed of my machine to make sure I'm getting the line or the color I'm looking for, because I can go deeper, I can go faster,
But all that makes
slower.
a good tattoo, knowing all that back frame.
Yes,
Yeah.
but so much of it has to do with your skin, so much of it has to do with how you take care of it. So you've gone from being in a studio where you're baked out of your mind and your creative juices are flowing, you're painting away, to stepping into a bacteria-free area that's all sanitized, gloves on, everybody's protected, saran wrap.
Completely
You're
different.
doing surgery on somebody. So now you're taking this art and putting it through ink and a needle on somebody's skin. You better make sure that you know what you're doing.
But
so
I love it because
a lot of hard work coming
guys
up.
like me and you, right? They kind of, a lot of times we have that kind of maybe what's next or what's, I'm the type of person where if I'm not fulfilled, I'm going to pivot, right? I'm not going to stay in a broken relationship if I'm unhappy, right? I'm not going to stay at a job if I'm not happy for 20 years like some, guys and girls do. So I love that, you kind of shared that you were going down this path, didn't work out. But what people don't understand is you learn a lot from failure, more than your successes. And it builds character. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about, because I've been on the podcast.
Yeah.
I've been on your podcast, but I didn't know how it was created. So kind of tell me how that venture kind of happened, and was it just an idea or thought, or did you watch someone's podcast and like, I want to do that? Kind of fill me in, because we haven't had this conversation. I'm interested to hear this.
I met 2 guys like these and they came to my art show. They told me they loved art, but they also loved this.
Yeah.
And that's always, I was making movies before I was ever painting or drawing.
What do you mean movies?
My first movie, I made it at 13 years old with 3 of my friends. I had clips from other movies. I had explosions. So again, art is just what you make of it. But this was my first love.
Okay.
So to meet those guys, and they happen to be at the art show, and they're handy with a camera, and they like editing. The first time we edited together and got the beat with the music, with the shot and the eyes,
You're
the
like,
way we wanted to,
huh?
we all jumped off our seats, like almost fell back, because the feeling was so ecstatic, how you wanted something and you nailed it. No different than art. No different.
I love it.
It's the same way.
I love how you keep drawing everything out of life back to art, because I'm seeing it. I'm
You have
seeing
to. You
life
have to.
at a different angle
Life
right
is
now,
art.
and I'm liking it.
Life is art.
Yeah.
But going back to what we were saying about, the people that just did one thing, or, I'm not saying the path I took is a good path to take by any means. I'm not, suggesting that people should do that. I'm just lucky enough that it led me to a place that I currently am happy with. Is that by luck? Is that by people coming in and out of my life, as we all have? I don't know. But I'm not wanting to question it anymore. I just want to, like I said, I'm just looking to express myself in the healthiest way possible using creative means, or as many as I can muster, because I don't hold things in. So that's kind of what led me to that. But I do hear about people like my cousin who own River City Rentals and Big Top, and they're doing very well. They've been in the same rental business for 36 years, 35 years, something like that. That's 35 years at one job.
Yeah.
So I don't look at that guy and go, oh, it's boring.
It's
I commend him for that, because that
sure.
is difficult to do. I can't stay somewhere for 3-4 years at a time. The longest I've done is 5.
Yeah.
But not to take away from people not wanting to try all these different avenues and express themselves that way and just stick to what they're good at. I commend people like that, because that takes guts too.
As long as they're happy too.
As long as they're happy, right?
Yeah.
So I look up to people like that, because you're naturally attracted to people that are doing something that you yourself would find difficult. Like I look up to people like that.
Yeah.
So do I look up to artists as well? Of course, I'm always amazed by what they can create, but I'm also very driven by those people that just stick to one thing, because if you happen to find it right away and be good at it, then I'm just not built that way. Not that it's right or wrong, it's just
How many podcasts have you guys done already?
I think we're at 41.
41. And when
39 or 41,
you guys been going
which
for
is not
No,
a small feat, right?
That's great.
But we just had our 1-year anniversary a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Like starting a podcast, especially if people take to it.
Yeah.
But we are moving studios, so
Yeah.
after these guys showing me around, I'd love to
It's
use
nice.
something like
It is
this.
nice, yeah.
Especially because people think a podcast. Wow, that must take a lot of your time.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dummy. I do it for like 2 hours a week. Like, you can't find 2 hours a week. There's people that jerk off for more than 2 hours a week. It's like, you can find the time to have a podcast.
You know what? It's funny.
As long as the guests are cool,
but
right?
It's what people see through the lens, right? They don't see all the behind the scenes. We talked about making movies.
All my farting happens when the camera's off.
But we just talked about like behind the scenes and like movies. Like they just see Joaquin Phoenix
you don't
playing
see
the Joker. You
the
don't
24
see,
people behind the camera there.
All the hundreds of millions that goes into actually bringing that to life, right? And so no, when I went on your podcast, it was my first one. And now, like, the tables have turned, and now it's your first one. So I'm loving this.
It's awesome. It's way more funner on this side. No, seriously.
You having more fun on that side?
Way more. Are you kidding me?
Then that means I must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Because when you're the host,
Yeah.
you're focused. So right now your focus is on me.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
You're figuring out, I know a little bit about this guy, but there are some questions I'd like to ask him, and you got to be prepared.
Yeah.
I don't have to be prepared. I don't even care what you have to say. You're here to ask me questions. I'm here to express myself, but I'm not doing it in a mirror anymore. I'm talking to somebody, and it happens to be out there or shared.
The greatest thing about a podcast is, for me, is you're having conversation, and the person on the other side is a little bit more open because he knows it's going to come. Where normally, if maybe I just met you at a party, you might not kind of give me a little bit more of you. But now, people are, I watch so many podcasts. Like, I spend a good, I'd say 20 to 25 hours a week on myself. Books, podcasts, everything. A lot of man hours, right?
Yeah.
But when I look at them, it's like, I know about these people on these podcasts, and then they go on a podcast, and it's like, I didn't know who this was. You learn so much more about them because people are more open in this setting to open up. And it's great. And it's, I'd rather watch a podcast than a movie because I'm usually learning a lot more, not just about the person, but just about more in life. And even today, like I've learned, so much more about art where I've never really, and my mom's an artist, right?
Yeah.
And I've got all kinds of art all over my house, but I've never really, sat in the other chair of an artist and really thought about things the way you kind of depicted. Other than
it's a very lonely life. It's a lonely lifestyle. But everybody should have a podcast, though.
Yeah.
I think we're entering an era where people should all, you say you listen to a lot of podcasts.
I do.
Unfortunately, I don't. I barely listen to podcasts.
Because no one's as good as you, so you're just like,
No,
whatever.
no, I swear to you, that's not why. But I'll spend hours listening to Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, I love him now.
So
Like,
is that a
yeah.
podcast? No, he's got a YouTube
Yeah.
channel or
Yeah.
clips that he puts out there.
Yeah.
But very motivating, very life-changing.
Yeah.
But the podcast thing, I mean, if somebody's is interesting, for sure, which they all are, but if I'm not looking to learn about what you're talking about, I generally don't pay good attention, you know? Not that I'm not open-minded enough, but I'm already learning so much and I have so much on my plate that I'm dedicating my time to, that it's very hard to find the time to just listen to something, right?
Yep.
But you sometimes have to take a little bit of that 25 hours that you're spending listening to podcasts and create more of your own.
Exactly. And
You
that's
know what I'm
doing.
saying?
That's
I'm
what
not
doing.
saying that doesn't lead to that.
Yeah.
It does motivate,
Yeah.
but less on them. And I know Joe Rogan listens to podcasts,
I know he
but
does.
I doubt that he's listening to 25 hours worth of podcasts
Yeah.
and not 25 hours of his podcast.
It's true. It's true.
Creating it.
Yep.
Because if you have the right guests and you have a lot to say and you're very articulate with your words and well spoken, and you can get yourself out there, then do more of yours. You know, there's
the
lots
whole-
of good stuff
that's
out
the
there,
whole point of
but that's
this.
never going to
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Like, go on Netflix. You want to find a good movie to watch? You'll be there till
I'll
you
just
die.
watch this in the Beehive.
There's
That's it. I'll just
there's so much to watch out there.
Yeah.
Then you realize as you're scrolling through your Facebook feed, you're like, there is so much out there.
There's a lot.
And now they have this new thing. Well, it's not a new thing. It's years ago, but you know, you click on the video pops up, and then there's 17,000 more like it. Because in case you like this Mike Tyson video, there's some of him training.
3
some
hours
of him
go
as a
by.
kid. 3 hours go by, and you don't realize what a fuck up you are until you scroll back up and you realize, holy, I watched all those videos in the last half an hour. What am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
So social media can be very, very constricting, very time consuming.
Yeah.
So sometimes we need to, like right now is probably the best moment of the day for me, not because I'm just on your podcast, but because I put my phone away.
Yeah, me too.
And I do that when I'm
I love it.
tattooing because
Yeah.
sanitary reasons can't be around me. But those 4 or 5 hours, I'm in another world. And not just because of art. This conversation to me is art. It's something that is not, it's allowing me to express myself, but I'm not using social media. I'm not distracted by many things. It's just me and you.
Yeah, we're
so that's
focused.
one thing you'll find about a podcast. It's a lot of fun because it teaches you to be a good listener.
Yeah.
You know?
No, and I agree because right now I know my phone's over there away off. I
Don't
know-
lie. It's in your pocket. I
yeah,
can see you.
yeah. Wait a second. Wait
Yeah.
a second. What was that? What? But you're 100% right. In today's world, it's very rare where we shut it off. And when I say it, I mean life. And we're just zoned in and focused on being the present.
But you think you're shutting off life.
Yeah,
You end up shutting it off so you can experience life.
exactly.
You ever sat there by yourself without your phone and just kind of like dozed off into a mini midday nap and started thinking about things?
I do
Man,
I do
that's
morning
life.
meditation.
Exactly.
And so
If you can learn to meditate,
I've not every day, but a lot of the days where I will just put on my iPad and put on some deep meditation without looking at my
you have
phone.
that Calm app,
No, I don't.
the rain on the
Oh, no, I
roof?
know what you're talking
That's
about.
what
Yeah,
I go to
I know
say.
what you're talking
Howling wolves?
Yeah, I usually just go to YouTube and just Google meditation. There's tons.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And but before I even grab the phone, because once you grab the phone, you're getting this. Okay, I've got to do this. I've got to do this. And the day starts, right? So it's good to kind of unwind, and then it sets you up for the day. So what else, man? What else besides the podcast, or what's going on with the podcast right now? Are you guys still kind of hitting it hard? Or
We
you
got,
you guys want to do a new location?
Yeah, we're gonna move studios. I'm kind of tired. I like this background.
Yeah.
My background's boring, guys. You see it. It's got the burgundy curtains I used to have in my paid studio, so I just transferred them over. But no, from now on, what I'm gonna do is, at the beginning you get excited. You have any loser on here like me. Like
Get
I'm your
outta
first
here.
podcast.
Get outta here.
There's so many guys you could be
Get
talking
outta
to.
here.
But since I'm here, I'll give you my 2 cents.
Yeah.
At the beginning, you do want you just want to get your beak wet a little bit.
Yeah.
You want to get warmed up to the idea of having your own podcast, of being a host.
Yeah.
You're like I said, you're a very charismatic person. This is very fitting for you. But as you start it off,
Appreciate that.
you start to realize there's some things that you're doing wrong, some things you're doing right. These guys will start helping you out by kind of putting in their 2 cents
Yeah.
of how they think. Like when this podcast is over, they'll tell you,
Yeah.
hey, you did really good, man. Maybe you should try a little more of this or
Yeah.
a little less of that. And so it's your crew around you that helps you become
It's so
who you
true.
are and more comfortable with it. But as time goes on, I tend to pick a little more of the meaningful conversations I want to have, because there's so many interesting people out there. But it does not mean that I'm interested in having a conversation with you. But I want to be. I don't want to fake it. And it's hard not to fake it sometimes, because you're talking about, my last podcast was a meditation one. Before that, it was the dream translator. I have wild dreams. I'm a dreamer.
Oh, yeah?
I'm insanity. I live a double life, guaranteed. People don't know that, but I had her on because it was a perfect conversation to have. So you start to weed out all the conversations that you're not as interested in, because that camera captures everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Captures
I do.
captures your sincerity
Yeah.
in more ways than you think it does.
Do you know John C. Maxwell?
No.
He's
Sounds like I should, though.
He's written more books on leadership than anyone on planet Earth.
Okay.
And I've seen him twice, and he's a personal coach, and he's just, he's older. I believe he's late 60s, early 70s. But even him, after all, CEOs, biggest people in the world, and he says he's still, to this day, sometimes he touches his face a little bit too much here, or he does this, and his
Right?
team has to say, okay,
we're always our harshest critics, though.
Yeah,
So it's always never going to be perfect,
Yeah.
but there are some things that would better help, your podcast, your content, your viewers, just by listening to what an outsider thinks.
Exactly.
Record yourself or catch yourself on camera and be like, I look that stupid? Is that what I say?
Is that how my laugh is? Is that?
Yeah, so you start nitpicking, but the best feeling is when you just drop all that shit.
And just go.
And
just go.
I is who I is.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
today, I kind of had a moment to myself. We talked about, having the moment. So I'm like, it's, we're just gonna have a conversation.
Yeah.
Just having a conversation. Just
No,
like-
by the way, I'm super comfortable.
Yeah, I too.
I'm more nervous doing my podcast than being a guest on somebody else's, because
Well, that's good to know. And you didn't learn that until today.
Yeah, and,
Well, there you
and
go.
it's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun.
Being on the other side.
Yeah.
So, what I want to do is I came up with a little series called 5 Questions.
5 questions.
Okay? And I'm just going to ask them to you.
Is this those rapid ones? Because I never.
No,
do
they don't
those
have to be
on-
rapid.
Okay,
You
because
can
I
have-
don't do rapid.
you can have to do a
I
little
literally
thought.
stop there because you don't want me doing rapid nothing.
These are going to be just random
come out right.
questions that I came up with.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call this segment 5 Questions. Okay? And also, when I get Connor
You're
McDavid.
supposed to have cards for that.
Oh,
by the
when I
way.
get Connor McDavid on here in 2 years, that's my quest for McDavid. You know what? What's
Yeah,
going to happen? It's going to happen.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
I'm just going to have hashtag quest for McDavid.
But be careful. These superstars are not that fun to talk to.
Well,
Connor McDavid's a very boring person.
Well, I'm
he's an
sure-
amazing hockey player. But
until-
he's not going to want to talk to you
until he gets to the
about
seat like
anything
that.
else but hockey, right? He
You
might
don't
know a few
You
things.
don't know. You don't know until it
Oh,
happens.
I know. Have you seen their interviews? They're amazing for a
Yeah,
reason,
but it's
because
not
they
a
live and
podcast.
breathe
It's different.
hockey.
It's different, right?
Yeah, but
and
the-
it's called Edmonton Real. I've got his shirts everywhere.
What I'm telling you, good sir, is that Connor McDavid lives and breathes hockey only. He doesn't
See
care
that,
about
Connor?
anything
There you go.
else.
First shout out.
I
We got to
think-
prove Omar wrong.
Yeah, you need to hear it from me that you focus on hockey a little too much. But there's a reason they're that good, because they don't do anything else.
Yeah, it's true.
So
Yeah.
getting a good conversation started with some of these superstars,
Yeah.
it's hard unless they're like a Mike Tyson and they've
Well, I
been
grew up
through
in
the
the
ringer.
Crosby era, right? And I just kept.
Crosby's a little different,
and I-
but McDavid I feel is he's a little private, a little quiet.
Yeah,
you know,
he's very private. You ready?
it'd be fun though.
It'd be fun.
Right?
Yeah. I'm still in a quest for McDavid 2 years. Okay, you ready? 5 questions. If there was one piece of advice you could give your 20-year-old self, what would it be? It doesn't have to be drawn out. It can be anything.
Can I fucking think?
Yeah, you can give her. Yeah. I'll just.
Advice. I don't know if I'd have really good advice for him, just because I think some of the best things I've learned by stumbling and falling and failing, and so advice would have kept me away from those
So just go down,
potholes.
keep going down your own
So
path and you'll
it's
figure it out.
you know what I would say? I would the one piece of advice: save a little more. Don't be so spontaneous with your money. Yeah, just save. Put a few dollars away for a rainy
I like
day.
it because if you're saving a little bit, you can pull the trigger on something when it's time to strike. Like I know, I know I've done real estate for a long time, and sometimes when an opportunity comes up, it'd be nice to have that where you can actually pull the trigger. So I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is the most famous person you have ever met?
Why is that even an important question?
I said
Meeting important people doesn't do anything
Daniel
for
J.
me.
Smith's most random 5 questions. I know mine, but you tell me yours. It's making you think.
Nick Diaz.
Okay, cool.
I met him outside of a club in Las Vegas.
Cool.
I was hitting on the manager there, and she was getting off of work, and she was sitting with one of her friends, and one of my buddies was wearing a hat, and you can't wear a hat. So he went back to the room to change, and I happened to be out there, and I saw them looking. I was looking, so I walked over, did my whole charismatic thing. How's your night, ladies? Blah, blah, blah. She tells me that she's the one that sort of runs the events in the club, and
for our viewers, he's a very famous UFC fighter.
Yeah, not me, Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
Nick Diaz. His brother fought yesterday or Saturday. So as I'm sitting there talking to her, she goes, well, I'm supposed to be off. I'm going to go home, but I'll come back in. Like, you seem pretty cool. I'll get you a table or whatever. I'm like, really? Oh, man, my friend will be right back, like 2 seconds. She's like, oh, yeah, for sure. But when I get you in, I got to go after. I said, oh, yeah, that's cool. Good enough. Like, I appreciate it. And I'm waiting for my buddy, and I look over, and I see Nick Diaz, like, looking pissed off, like most of the times the Diaz brothers do. And I had to go over there and say hi because I'm a big fan of his. And this was in 2000 and, whoa, now I feel old, 2012.
Okay.
So a long time ago.
I went down to UFC when it was 202, the rematch with Conor McDavid.
No, this is before that, but I know which one you're talking about. So anyways, I got him into the club.
Nice.
Because he apparently is pissed off why they got him outside of the club because something had happened. And I'm thinking to myself, like, they don't know who you are? You're in Vegas, like the fight capital. Yeah. But that was around the time where the UFC wasn't as big as it is now.
Right.
So I had to like remind the manager, that's Nick Diaz. I know he doesn't look like much, t-shirt and jeans, but he's a famous UFC fighter. The ears too.
The ears, yeah.
So his brother's now super famous. But yeah, so I told him, well, come in the club with me and get back in. Apparently she's giving us a table. So he came, we had a drink, amazing human being. Awesome. Such a cool guy. So most famous person I met, that would probably be Nick now. I'd love to sit down with like Al Pacino or something. And
I met Arnold.
Arnold, yeah, that'd be a good one. I don't like Arnold that much.
I had about 20 seconds with him, and and I cried after because he's one of my heroes. So I was
really,
like, I literally cried, literally.
Yeah. What's your favorite movie of Arnold?
Oh wow, I like True Lives. I like Commando. I like the kind of Predator. I kind of like that one too. Yeah. Terminator 2 is good. Yeah. You know, all of them. I just kind of
his memes are funny now that he's getting older. He's given less shits. He's actually really funny.
Yeah. He's gone vegan now. He's gone vegan.
Everybody should go vegan.
Yes, they should.
I'm serious.
We could have a whole other podcast about that alone.
I can't stand meat.
No way.
I will not touch meat anymore, man. I made a promise myself. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Maybe not totally vegan, but definitely try to go plant-based.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the facts and watch that Game Changer show on Netflix.
Yeah.
That'll tell you everything you need to know. Strongest man, fastest woman. They don't touch meat. So all this whole meat, protein, well, the cow eats the grass for the meat, for the protein. So when you eat the meat, you're cutting out the middleman by getting rid of meat. And plus, it's not that healthy for our environment. Once in a while, I guess.
No,
but I'm not attracted to meat in any way.
And do you feel that your body feels a lot better now than when it was before?
Oh, it totally does. Everybody will tell you that. Yeah. They did a test on that show where the blood was actually looked at through a vial, and the foggier blood was always from the meat eater. And so meat has something to do with fogging up your blood cells and your.
It's so hard to break down.
Right, and it's just more clear. So it does have profound effects, both scientifically speaking and just for your mental health. It seems to work well, but Jordan Peterson will only eat meat and greens, but that's all he eats. He's on a very strict diet, and it works for him really well, and he's loving it.
Brian
I can't say it's wrong, but it's just
Brian Rose, the host of London Real, who I depicted my show after. He did.
You should have him on one day.
He's coming. I'll get him. I will have like quest.
He's coming, baby.
Quest for McDavid. I have like a whole quest list. Like I'm gonna get this guy. But he did an Ironman, and for it, he went vegan. And he said it was, just life-changing.
Right?
Life-changing, right? And
But it's not easy to go vegan.
No.
Like it takes
No.
hard work and
like tofu, what?
yeah, the veganism doesn't just fall at your feet. You have to work extra hard for it.
I've been actually watching some YouTube kind of vegan channels where they're doing dishes, and I'm like, this doesn't look so bad. I'm like, I like beans, right?
Yeah.
All right, what else we got here?
Questions. What question are we on? 2 or 3?
This is number 3.
3.
What is one thing that not a lot of people know about you?
Oh man, I love classical music.
Nice.
I love Andrea Bocelli.
Nice.
I love watching really weird Renaissance documentaries about how things were made.
You are an artist. You are a true artist.
Very much so.
Yeah,
that in the shadows.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that surprises a lot of people is that I love classical music, and I do enjoy documentaries on things that you'd think I'm a war guy, or like I hate action movies.
No way.
As soon as they start
That's why you
shooting
said
each
you don't
other,
like Arnold. You're like, I don't like Arnold.
I don't like
Get to the chopper.
Yeah, no, like even watching movies with a lot of shoot. And the only reason I got through Scarface is because Tony Montana's Al Pacino.
I can't believe I'm going to admit this, but I've never watched Scarface. I know. I
feel bad for you.
So I already lost. Like we're gonna have.
I'm past the point
no viewers anymore.
I would have been mad in 2001 if you would have told me that.
I've watched
2019.
I've never sat down and watched the whole movie.
What do you think all the hype's about? Like, what do you think all the hype's about? All these people can't be wrong, right? There's a common denominator. Yeah. Well, you got to know where that came from.
Tonight, I'm gonna have to tell the missus we're watching Scarface.
You can't just. I don't watch it with the missus. That's no, it's not a missus thing. No. Just go have a drink or two of scotch, sit back. It's a long movie. Be prepared.
Like 3 or 4 hours. Have to take a break.
What was your question though about the third question? What was it?
No, you answered it. It was what was one thing that not a lot of people know about you?
Oh yeah,
classical music. Yeah. See, I'm learning lots about you.
I'm a sick bastard. They just don't know it. But yeah, that's something that would surprise people.
Number 4? What is the coolest, funniest, or most unique nickname anyone's ever given you?
Mosey.
What is it?
Mosey.
Mousy.
Mousy.
And what's the?
It means banana.
And is there any? How did that come about?
My mom gave it to me when I was a kid because I'd never come inside. I'd always be outside.
Yeah.
And I would come back and I had really curly, like my hair now is. I have straight hair when it grows out.
Yeah.
But I had really curly like afro hair.
No way.
Which is weird because I don't have that now.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I had it, and
you had an afro.
So I look black.
Okay.
I'd come home and the sun beat the shit out of me, my neck, and I'd look all black. So she'd call me a banana because I looked like a monkey. Yeah, I think that's where my mom's mind kind of went to. But yeah, that was
you
the
had
nickname.
a fro.
Yeah,
wow.
As a kid, and I was really dark because I'd never come inside.
Yeah.
So I came home as a dark, afro wearing little kid.
Say it again. What she called you?
Mousy.
Mousy.
Which means banana in Arabic. Okay. So, yeah, I kind of lost that name pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I didn't take that to high school.
No.
Imagine high school, you call me Big O, or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Mousy was just, I just thought it'd be funny for your podcast.
Yeah, no.
To admit that rather than something.
Yeah, no, I love
cheesy.
it. Okay, now this is, I came up with this and.
No rush, by the way.
No rush.
I'm liking this.
This one's good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
My lady thought it was a little dark, but I'm gonna run with it because I thought it was good. Okay.
I'm not embarrassed by anything.
No, good. Either am I. Well, then we can probably go for another like 7 hours.
You should be embarrassed of that stain on your knee, though.
Oh, is that? Oh man.
Yeah, see that dot? I was like counting it down because I thought
we can edit that out.
No, because I thought after like 20 minutes it'll disappear. It's just a water stain. That's a stain, bro. I don't know where that came from. And now you have it on that side. Pan the camera up a little bit. I got you.
You got me?
Yeah,
all right.
Got to make fun of the host,
Number
man.
5.
Otherwise
You have to.
He gets a little uptight. You can't do that.
No, I'm not uptight.
I'm just kidding. You got to keep you
Are you
on
ready?
your toes.
Number 5?
Yeah,
Number 5, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
What would be your last meal if you were on death row? Give me a few things that you'd like to eat. And I know that's a really random out there question.
Come on, bro. You got to give me like way better questions.
It's a good question.
You're talking about a meal before I die?
Come on, hit me with it.
Okay, a part of me wants to like pick something like really like delicate and classic.
Yeah.
Like, sauteed mushrooms with like some of mom's tabbouleh or hummus or something like that. No, man. I probably say just go to McDonald's, get me.
You get a Big Mac?
Well, I
Hey, you
can't-
got one
who
meal.
cares
You got
about
one
being-
meal- You got one meal left, and
Well-
you're gonna go get a Big Mac, bro?
Who cares? I'm dead in an hour.
Like not even like IHOP pancakes.
No.
Like no bigger.
I'd
McDonald's.
Want,
McDonald's.
I'd want my last meal to be McDonald's. I'll tell you why.
Okay, please.
Because for those people that kill me, I want it to stink. Like I want it to just like, you know what I mean? Because they say you shit yourself when you die.
Yeah.
I want that shit to be McFlurry's, Big Mac. I don't want to
So
give
just
them
like
the
a
justice.
a 1 through 6 at
Yeah.
McDonald's.
What do I want them to smell? Wine and some steak? Like, no, I'd want them to be punished for what they did. That would be my last meal. I'd say a quick run to McDonald's before I die.
See, that's probably something you've never been asked before, right?
Because you feel that way, you know, at 2,
After
3 in the
you eat it,
morning,
yes, yeah,
drinking,
yeah.
you're on your way home, you're about to die. You're not going to go for an elegant meal. What do we all do? We go to
true.
McDonald's.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good
And about being vegan, who cares? I'm dead right away.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Whatever.
whatever meat's going to do to me in an hour is not worse than what
And
this
I'm
chair
sure
is going to
the
do.
McDonald's meat, I don't even know that is beef. You know?
They say it's consistent. They
I don't even
say
know if that is
actually,
beef.
a guy went to their factory who does a lot of epoxy work and did their factory for them where all the meat's produced. He says it's very clean, like they're very clean. But I think you have to be. You don't want to get sued in your McDonald's. It's not a good idea.
No.
And you have the money for it. But yeah, they say they're very clean. I still don't agree with meat, but very clean factories
But
apparently.
if it was the last meal,
From
you'd
an
be like-
inside source.
you'd be like, you know what? The hell with this. I'll eat meat. Last meal, McDonald's. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't even think about meat. You just told me I'm going to die in an hour. What do I care? Just give me some food. I'd probably skip on the meal and just say, just give me a joint. And I would hold that, each hit, I'd hold it in for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So by the time that zapper's going, I'm
You're
just
just
like,
like
whatever.
you're high on life right
Yeah,
now.
I have to be, man. I can't be thinking consciously and thinking about important shit. That's, yeah. And I've seen The Green Mile.
I love
So
that.
I've seen different ways
yes,
that
yes,
can
yes,
go.
yes.
That's one of my favorite movies.
One of mine too. Tom Hanks is
John
amazing.
Coffey.
Yeah, yeah,
Just like the drink, just not spelt the same.
exactly. And that's actually
One of my
in the
favorite
movie.
movies.
I see. I know.
Oh, why do you think I said it? Of course, in the movie. I'm a lines guy. Ask me any movie, any line. What do you want to know?
Any line, any movie,
Yeah.
and you'll know.
I'll know about it. I'm a movie guy, man. Movies were my first love, my first passion, way
Okay,
before art.
I got one.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one. And it seems fitting.
So I'm an artist you can take to a movie. I'm cool with that.
And it has to do with, how does it go? It has to do with a banana peel. And they hit a banana peel and the family kind of goes over a cliff. Do you remember what movie that is? Do you remember what movie that is?
I don't even know how to answer that. So it's not Fred Flintstone
No,
and
no,
his
no, no,
family.
no. It's,
okay. It's not Mario
It's
Brothers.
Billy Madison movie. It's Adam Sandler movie when the family kind of hits the banana peel and they go off the
You guys know what it is? I see them chatting back there.
and because your nickname was Banana, I don't know why.
Shit, I should have.
See,
Should have
This is
picked
great.
something else.
And I was just like, oh, what did they? Oh man, I can't remember. They always have this saying to the family.
Adam Sandler's made a shit ton.
Oh
of
yeah,
movies.
he has.
I got
He
high
has.
the other day with a friend
Yeah.
and counted how many movies he's made.
Yeah.
You'll honestly have a
Oh,
heart
Doyle Rules is how it
Doyle
goes.
Rules,
Oh, Doyle
yeah.
Rules. Remember the family?
Oh, but that's the.
the Billy Madison movie. What? It's the old school one.
He's got so many.
I know
man.
what the family runs around and they go, oh, Doyle Rules, the whole movie, and then all of a sudden they're driving down the street. There's a
yeah,
banana,
I know
and
what-
the Doyle family hits a banana and they go off the cliff.
Oh, Doyle Rules. Oh, and they're all saying it in
Yeah.
the air.
Yeah.
But I forget what the title of the movie is. But
can't
Adam
remember.
Sandler, wow.
Yeah.
So many movies.
Yeah.
You'll actually start counting them and you realize, whoa, he's probably got a record. I don't know if you can look that up, how many movies Adam Sandler's been in.
Get our team going back
But
there.
there's like that guy's busy.
Yeah.
Very, very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know the title of that one, but
I can't remember.
I thought you were going to ask me an easy one. Like Castaway, Bronx Tale. Like those are my movies, man. The one character
Wilson.
thing.
Yeah. Oh, you like that?
I'm a big fan of like movies like Castaway, Carlito's Way is amazing, but I like all the classics, Bronx Tale, just Goodfellas like everybody else.
Yeah.
But there's some movies like The Green Mile and Castaway, now Joker.
Even the Joker.
That is phenomenal, phenomenal. And I actually went and seen Joker twice.
I ripped it.
But with somebody. I don't go alone.
Yeah. I probably should go see it in theater.
I went and seen it twice. The second time was better than the first
No way.
time.
I'm going to go watch it again.
I was blown
Just
away by
because
how
you
much
said
I
so.
missed from the
No
first
way.
one, because you're so drawn by his acting that you forget to pay attention to the movie.
I never did a deep research about the Joker until this movie started coming out, and then I started researching about kind of how.
But that wouldn't even lead you anywhere, because they have a whole new Joker with this.
Yeah, no, they do. But I still wanted to know.
They stay true to some things,
Yeah.
but really the story is about mental health.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right, in a way, and
Yeah.
a revolutionary.
Yeah.
But I thought it was all new. You don't have to research anything for that movie. That's the beauty of it, is that they gave the Joker a totally different non-comic book twist, but still found a way to put Batman in there.
Yeah.
But you're so drawn in by his acting that you forget to pay. It'll happen to you in some movies where the actor does such a good job, especially if you're a fanboy like me when it comes to actors.
You miss the storyline a little bit.
You might miss some subtleties that you need to pick up on to understand the storyline or the storyboard of it, right?
It's almost like a good book where you'll read it and it has a meaning, and then you'll pick it up in another year or two and it means a different meaning because you're allowing certain things in at the time where before you weren't able to allow those in.
Yeah.
It's almost like watching that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's amazing about books, though, because you'll read a whole book not to remember it. You'll read a whole book to remember one line from one paragraph that really hit home to you or made you think of something, or you decided to pursue something because of it. So I wish I can remember anything about a book besides an idea it gave me.
Do you have a go-to book that's kind of like your Bible?
The Jordan Peterson one's a very difficult one to learn.
Yeah.
12 Rules for Life. That one's been challenging. I have Google right beside me, and I'll be like, hey, Google, what does metamorphosis mean, or something like that, and it'll explain it, and then I'll go on reading. Okay. So I've had to get translated quite a bit when it came to books, but that one, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson.
I know of it, but I've never read it.
Is it Mark Hansen or Mark Manson? Yeah, and that was a good book. Easy read, very straightforward. Jordan Peterson one is difficult, like I said, but the Think and Grow Rich is a good one. I wish I read more than I actually did.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of kind of having it there, and I'll read 2-3 hours a week, but man, I'd like to put in an hour.
That's why I do a lot
day.
of podcasting, because I can do other things while I'm taking it.
It's all you guys are going to have podcasts. Yeah. In years to come, everybody's going to have their own way of communicating. It's separate from your work. Like, even if you do this for a living, you'll still go home, you'll put on the camera, and you know, maybe the air outside won't be safe in 20, 30 years. You don't know.
I've got one.
We need a way to
I'm
communicate.
actually wearing the pin, the
Yeah.
10X rule with Grant Cardone. Have you ever read that?
Yeah, you told me a lot about
Yeah.
it, but I haven't read that. No, but I
really-
I see the results
It really
are kind of.
takes your way of thinking, and it's just always thinking about 10Xing all areas of life. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's basically my Bible. Another one is Awaken the Giant Within with Tony Robbins.
I'm a big Tony Robbins fan.
Yeah, me too.
But when I started listening to Jordan Peterson,
Yeah.
and I recommend everybody watch Jordan Peterson.
I fell in love
Go
with
on
him after-
YouTube, punch in Jordan Peterson, listen to a few talks. Worst case scenario, you wasted 20 minutes of your day. But I promise you, this is somebody that not only speaks the truth, not only somebody that's very well read and articulate, but it goes back to the truth. He's just super honest.
And like I said,
so Jordan Peterson, if you take anything from this podcast, sorry, that's as far as my end goes.
Yep.
They're going to take a lot from you, I'm sure. But as far as any message you would take from this podcast, besides knowing all the little shit I got into and how I became, an artist and then tattoo and all that, the most important thing is that I could give as advice, going back to my 20-year-old self. Jordan Peterson wasn't around then.
There you go.
But I would have told my 20-year-old self, look out for a guy named Jordan Peterson and just listen to him speak.
Yeah.
He will work your brain in a way where guys like Tony Robbins, as much as I respect and love him, did listen to them a lot.
It's just different, yeah.
It's brought to you not on a silver platter,
Yeah.
but on a shit platter that your life really is. Because your life is tragic. You know that. You've told me stories on the podcast about your life and the shit that you've been through. Well, let me tell you, I have the same going on in my life. And if you ask any one of
So
these
does
guys,
everyone's-
they'll tell you
Yeah.
they got the same thing happening in theirs. So he makes it okay to have a tragic life. He just helps you in understanding that you don't have to make it absolute hell. You can actually start working towards the good by simple things. Clean up your room in the morning.
Yep.
You set your day off right.
Yep.
It's one of his rules in his book. But it's more than that.
Yep.
It's just an honest, articulate person speaking. So in a world where Trump is tweeting and is on TV 24/7, it's nice to hear a guy, especially when he's from Fairview, come around and get the 150 million views per video he does, and there's a reason for it. This man is speaking and people are listening.
And when he has his debates, nobody can beat him. I was watching him
Because
doesn't
he
matter
doesn't
what
he,
the
do- he
conversation
doesn't
is.
make it a competition.
But
he brings his debate in a way where he actually tries to understand your truth.
Yep.
Having a background in psychology and being a psychiatrist, he has a background in that, and he's a professor. So he makes it so everybody wins in the conversation, like the Sam Harris debates. He makes it seem like Sam Harris also has a point, and encourages that. So you just gotta love somebody's.
And I like I said,
Honestly,
at
like
first I kind of, it's almost like Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk I didn't like at first, and now I love him, right?
Yeah.
Same with Jordan.
I like Gary.
I wasn't a big fan of.
He's good shit. He's has his own way, but it's
these guys who we speak of, the Tony Robbins, the Jordan Petersons, the Grant Cardones, to me it's like music. So what I mean by that is sometimes I'll be in a classic rock music. Sometimes maybe I want to listen to electronic. Maybe sometimes I want to listen to rap or whatever the case may be. It's the same as these guys. Sometimes I want to be in a Grant Cardone. He's like, go, go, go. Like, let's go, do you take over the world, rah, rah, rah. Then the other people, like Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn's like the godfather of personal development. Like, he's a little bit more softer. So some of these guys, it all depends on what mood I'm in, and that's who I'll listen to at that moment, right?
Yeah.
But you learn so much from every individual as you go.
I started backing away from the whole rah thing.
Yeah.
But I did like it at one point.
Yeah.
For me, I found out that rah doesn't work. I'm more, I don't want to make it sound like I'm deep so nobody else is as deep. I'm just a deeper thinker than that. So you have to sort of approach me in the way of making it morph into something a little deeper than just energy, which I believe in. And Jordan Peterson has this just this way about him about speaking. You really feel like he's not only telling you the truth, but he's presenting it in a way where it's not all glamorous. It's not all what you think it is.
It's almost like he brings forth a paradigm shift for the listeners after you listen to him a lot.
Yeah.
Where he's very unique.
And he stands up for himself.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to do it in a very articulate way. Not many people get a chance to do that.
Well, brother, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
And for coming on Edmonton Real, our very first podcast.
So it's called Edmonton Real.
Edmonton Real.
Edmonton Real. And you're having what? How many episodes a month?
It will fluctuate probably,
Yeah.
but I want to probably have a couple like you,
Yeah.
right? And bang them out and have a series and have a following. And I really think that having a local podcast would be nice.
Yeah.
And Edmonton's right in the name. And,
Yeah.
and like I said, the reason at the beginning of it was because I fell in love with Brian Rose's story and what he meant to me, and I just found a lot of myself inside him.
You should let him know that, because it's good for people like that to know that their experiences and the things that they're sharing are resonating to the point where people are taking action, and having all these podcasts come up in different cities. They'll appreciate stuff like that, and I think you'll have them on.
Yeah,
that'll be great.
No, I think I will.
I'm very supportive of everything that you do and you speak about. You're very passionate, and that's the secret ingredient in anything you do. If I wasn't passionate about anything I did, I would never even start it. Like, I would have no desire to, So it's good that you're passionate about it. You look the part, I'll tell you that much. Can't walk in with a backwards hat and fucking, be a host of a show. So it's nice to dull it down.
You're comfortable. You're like,
no, this is much easier, man.
Yeah.
You do leave with a heavy heart, though. Having because you're not only speaking, you're being forward, but you're reliving it as you're, that thing they say with your mind.
Yeah. I
how
know.
your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and like when you're on a diet, your body doesn't know if you're starving or on a diet because that's not your body's job. It just knows there's no food intake. It doesn't know where you are. Your mind is the same way. So as soon as I started thinking back about some of the questions you're asking me, I went back to Lebanon. I went back to when I couldn't skate. I went back to when I first started and when I lost my businesses. So you leave here with like a sack, like Santa Claus, like.
And now I know if you
this
have a
energy.
really, really bad day, I come over with 2 Big Macs.
but it's good to release it. So thank you for asking me the questions that allowed me to share a little bit about myself, because a lot of people don't, you don't share some things with people, but it's good to again express yourself in a different way. This is another form of expression. So
Love it.
I
Another
appreciate
form of
it.
art.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
This is Edmonton Real. My name's Daniel J. Smith. Thank you for all joining us today.